I'm Paul Levinson, and welcome to Light On, Light Through, episode 373, my review of Reacher 2. Well, I thought I'd change it up a bit and get away from some of the really serious things I've been reviewing and talking about here on this podcast, like reviewing the Who Killed JFK podcast 3 times. I mean, it were different episodes in the podcast each time. But I thought I'd indulge myself and maybe you in talking about one of my guilty pleasures, and that's the Reacher series, based on a series of books that is on Amazon Prime Video. And in particular, I'm going to review Reacher 2. That's the second season of this series. And I liked Reacher 2 even more than I liked Reacher 1, which means I immensely enjoyed every moment in the 8-episode second season. And my only regret is that I couldn't watch the 8 episodes all at once and keep the adrenaline flowing for the nearly 8 hours. Right? I watched each episode as it was put up on Amazon Prime, and I saw the finale episode a few weeks back, but didn't get around to reviewing it until now. And let me say, adrenaline is the word for this second season of Lee Child's book series, Brought to Life, which, by the way, I haven't read. There's barely a minute or two that goes by in any episode of this second season without maximum octane action, punctuated with Reacher's razor-sharp commentary and rapid-fire retorts. People get pushed out of helicopters, have high-speed car chases, and exchange gunfire and physical blows in a plot that brings back Reacher's military team that we meet in this second season for the first time. And this opens up all kinds of possibilities, ranging from a rekindled, or actually fully kindled for the first time, romantic relationship, more humor, and of course some rivalries. One of my favorite threads in this sharp suit of a story involves the NYPD detective Guy Russo, played by the one and only Dominic Lombardozzi. You may recall him from The Wire, Ray Donovan, lots of other great series. And since I'm trying very hard to not provide any spoilers, it gets tedious warning you about them, I know. I'm not going to tell you anything specific about how Russo's story plays out, except to say it's one memorable story that you're not going to forget. Meanwhile, the villain, Shane Langston, played by Robert Patrick, is memorable too, one of the most driven, vicious, evil masterminds I've seen on the screen in a long time. As I said in my review of Reacher 1, which I don't think I did a podcast about, I don't recall, I'll include a link to it. I certainly did a blog post written review of that, and I'll include that in the show notes to this episode. But as I said in that review of Reacher 1, Jack Reacher definitely has some Bondian characteristics, as in James Bond, and Langston is close to a worthy Bondian antagonist. Now, Robert Patrick has played many a policeman of all ages over his long career, and it's good to see him branch out a bit. Alan Ritchson was perfect again as Reacher. Maria Sten was back and fine again as Niagli. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce her name, and it was fun to see Serinda Swan in and out of bed with Reacher. Kudos, too, for Sean Sippo's wisecracking character, David O'Donnell. Now, I have no idea who's going to be on hand other than Ritchson in Season 3 of Reacher, but bring it on, and I'll certainly be back here with another review of that season.
The Light on Light Through podcast
And I hope you enjoyed this review of Reacher 2. I will be back here next week with a review of something else or another interview. Who knows? In the meantime, stay safe, stay sound, and keep doing whatever you can to help Ukraine and Israel fight off the fascists and terrorists that are attacking their countries.
The Light on Light Through podcast.
Athens, 2042 AD. She ripped the paper in half, then ripped the halves, then ripped what was left again into bits and pieces of history that could have been. Sierra Waters had read once that, years ago, it was thought that men made love for the thrill, while women made love for the sense of connection it gave them.
Curled Up with a Good Book says, Sierra Waters is sexy as hell. You can find out more about The Plot to Save Socrates by Paul Levinson at theplottoSaveSocrates.com.
Your brilliant story, it's real life.
Paul Levinson's Silk Code, about an ancient biotech war raging on in secret for centuries.